UFC 299 is in Miami. Thank you so much, Dana White. Just what is it like being back here in South Florida, Miami, and just how this whole South Florida has just risen for UFC from way back when it was
It's risen, period. I mean, when I think about being back here in like 09 and 10, the difference between, Miami and then is night and day. First of all, I like to put on fights in destinations where you have great hotels, great restaurants, shopping. The weather's great. There's tons of things to do. But what I love about South Florida is become very entrepreneurial. I mean, there are tons of restaurants open here till 1, 2 in the morning. There's people out in the streets enjoying themselves all the time. I mean, Florida's always been a destination, but Miami and South Beach seems bigger and better than it's ever been, than I can ever remember.
UFC 287 last year, what a tremendous event. I mean, and just the numbers, 9 million plus of the gate, and you had a sold out event. What was that like?
Last gate was 12 million. Last gate was 12 million, and we're creeping up on 14 million for this one. So we broke our own record. We broke the arena record again, and the economic impact for Miami last time we came was $47.7 million. So we plan on beating that this year too.
And what are your thoughts of, because now it seems like Miami's an annual destination for UFC, or South Florida is. Just what are your thoughts of, would it be 1 fight, 2 fights, or it's so much, because you're all over the world you guys could go.
Yeah, this has definitely become, there's places that we hit constantly, Vegas, Madison Square Garden, and now Miami has become that level of a fight for us, and that big of a market.
What can you say too about, because when you have a fight in Miami like UFC 299, what could you say about this card, and how important is it too to have a Latin, Spanish influence on the card? Does that even factor in when you're looking at different destinations and where fighters are from, or not too much?
Not really. One of the fascinating things about, obviously when we're going to other countries, if you're in England, you want some English guys on the card if you're going to, but the UFC has become, when you think about how boxing used to be, you had to have a guy from that hometown or whatever major ethnic group was there. The UFC, I mean, we can headline Arizona with a Brazilian and the thing does well. We're a completely different model than what you remember from the boxing days.
What can you say too about this card? And what's also interesting to me about South Florida, American Top Team, Kill Cliff FC, there are other good groups here, 2 training centers. Those are 2 big ones. You could basically have an entire fight card just with those 2 groups on it, seeing how many fighters.
It's funny when you say the American Top Team, Dan Lambert is one of the all-time good guys in the sport. A guy who spent his own money and done a lot of good things for not just fighters, but for the sport in general. And yeah, I mean, the American Top Team is a staple in Florida. So yes, it doesn't hurt when you have incredible training facilities and big camps here too.
UFC 300, another huge event that's going to be in Vegas. And I'm curious because Kayla Harrison was just doing a conference with fans and media out there, and this is going to be her first big fight. Were there any thoughts, though, of putting her on the Miami card? Because she does train here, live here? No, it was always a thought, let's try to get her at UFC 300.
No, I think that was just the way the timing worked out. A lot of things in the way matchmaking works, a lot of it has to do with timing. And when I say timing, injuries, personal, things that they have going on. There's so many different things that factor into where somebody ends up on a card.
Last year, UFC 287, you had Kid Rock, Mike Tyson, President Trump, all showing up. It was such a huge event. The crowd went nuts. Could we, Dana White, be expecting something like that for UFC 299?
We could. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I talk about Miami being a destination, it's like it's no different than Vegas and New York and MSG now. It's like everybody wants to come to the Miami events.
And I saw Steve O out there earlier who got a good response at this event today and all. Yeah, that was cool.
Oh man, the crowd here yesterday too, epic. I mean, one of the all-time great press conferences yesterday. I mean, I'm expecting even bigger things at the weigh-ins tonight, and the fight should be insane.
And a couple more questions, we'll wrap this up. Thanks so much for the time. I'm curious in a sense too, is because UFC's base is Vegas. That's where the headquarters is, and all. I want to be accurate with everything. Would there ever be a thing that maybe South Florida becomes a hub for a UFC office, or no, mainly it's in Vegas and that, or even Florida? Because I know you love Florida.
Yeah.
When everything was shut down, you praised Governor DeSantis in Florida and had shows in Jacksonville.
100%. And the mayor, he's from Jacksonville. He's the former mayor now. He's coming to this event tomorrow. But yeah, everybody loves Florida right now. I mean, and Miami is one of the hottest cities in America, maybe even in the world right now. So I don't think that we'd end up with an office here, but you know, Miami is now looked at like Vegas, Madison Square Garden, and big venues like that. London, Miami is now, you know, in the conversation.
You can work on your tan. That's also a great thing.
Right, which I definitely need work on.
Last thing, slap fight. So there's a big announcement. Slap fight is now coming to Miami. Tell us about that and just your thoughts and how that, and this is still fairly new as far as exposure.
13 months this thing has existed. It's the most successful thing I've ever been a part of in such a short amount of time. I've been on social media since Twitter. I was like one of the first people on Twitter. I have 20 million followers. Power Slap has been around for 13 months. It has 13 million followers already. This thing is a juggernaut on social media. We have an incredible rights deal with Rumble. We have tons of great sponsors, and the thing is just blowing up. And in just 13 months, it's a global sport. So by the end of this year, we should have all the majors locked in as far as sanctioning goes. And you know, once you got them in, it's pretty much, it's going to happen everywhere. So,
has it been announced yet when Miami will get a show, or when?
We don't. We just got that done hours ago. So now we got to start looking. You know, we're looking at Hawaii and Texas, and you know, we've been doing them all in Vegas, and so we'll get that figured out here within the next couple of months where we'll go next.
And also, do you see crossover with UFC and slap fight and doing things that are so different?
Well,
that
when
there's
you
so much
think about
crossover.
this, right? So under the TKO banner, we have the WWE and UFC. The Fertittas and I own Slap. We own Ridiculousness on MTV. We own Nitro Circus. We own SLS Skate League and Nitro Cross, which we just announced with the mayor today we're bringing here in January. So there are a lot of events that we can bring to South Florida, and we have a great relationship with the mayor. And you know, like I said, this city, one of the things I love about it is how entrepreneurial the city is.
And Dana, lastly, just what are your thoughts of UFC and all these ventures that you're a part of moving forward, and just how social media and all, way back when this is going on, when I was younger, we had nothing like that. Right. Now streaming, social media, all this is there, and it helps promote and really get everything out there. Just how important is that, and what things are you looking forward to just for UFC in the future?
Yeah, it's the future. The future of marketing and the future of reaching your fan base is social media and streaming. I mean, it is the future, and you're starting to see now Netflix coming on board with sports. You see YouTube now has sports. You have Amazon now getting involved in sports. So when you think about this, you know the show Reacher? Have you seen Reacher yet?
No.
Check Reacher out. Great show, all right? It's on Prime, right? Great show. I can go watch season 2 of that whenever I want to. Live sports is a destination that you have to watch live. So all these streaming platforms are starting to realize that. I'm surprised Netflix didn't get involved in live sports a lot sooner, but it's absolutely the future.
Thank you so much, Dana White.
Thank you, brother.